All right, I started my recording. So we're going to go ahead and get started. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. My name is Michelle Roy, and I am a science coordinator at Kern County Superintendent of Schools. And I've got part of the science fair team here with me this afternoon. I have Holly. Holly, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is Holly Gonzalez. I am a program specialist here at KCSOS. I see some familiar faces out there. Hello, friends. Good to see you.
And the real boss of the science fair is my support provider, Christy Watkins. Christy, are you able to introduce yourself?
Yeah. Hi, this is Christy. I am secretary for the SNEAM and Expanded Learning Program here at KCSOS, and I support Michelle and her entire science team. And I'm happy to be here for third science fair. Well, two and a half.
Yeah, thank you. You will get to know Christy probably better than all the rest of us throughout this science fair process. So um, here in the next few minutes, my hope is to acquaint you with our science fair registration platform. It's hosted by Zfairs. And this is our OG online registration platform. We've been using it since we shifted to a digital registration platform, and it seems to be working for us. And we found that it is very user friendly. This year, since we have at Kern County Superintendent of Schools, we've migrated to a little different configuration for a county office for a county website. So if you're looking for all things science fair this year, this is the best place to look. And before we get into me running through a sample of how to register a student, I would like to point out that all of the things that you will need to register students, paperwork, rule books, recordings. For instance, you can see down here, there's a recording of the coach orientation that we held in September. If you need that or want to review it, that's here for you. The slide deck from the coach orientation, the forms. This year we have the forms both in English and Spanish. Reminder that this intent to participate form that's linked here is due tomorrow, and you just need to let us know whether your school or district is going to be participating in the science fair. That's all that's required of that. Print it, fill it out, and email it back to either me or Christy. And we'll be that way. We'll just know about roughly how many to expect at our science fair. So, a couple things when you log on to the get here to our registration page. By and large, since we've been using this platform for a number of years, the majority of our schools, our participating schools in the county, are already registered in the system. But if your school isn't registered, and you'll see when I take you through the process here in a few minutes, you'll need to take care of doing that first. And then the second thing that you'll do is go up here to create account, and you'll create a teacher account for yourself. And whether you're a teacher or you're a coach or an administrator or a TOSA or whatever, a district supervisor for science fair, you're going to go to teacher because you can see you only have three choices, right? You're not a student, not a judge. You're going to click the teacher option and get yourself registered first. But you'll have to have yourself in there before you can actually register a student, and you'll see why once we start rocking and rolling here in just a second. So you've got your school in there. Oh, what about teachers or coaches? If you have been a part of science fair previously, since we've been using Zfairs anyway, your account is still good. I have deleted all student accounts from the past, and I deleted all judge accounts. But all of the former teachers, any teacher who has participated in science fair through the Zfairs platform, you're still in the system, and chances are pretty good that password that you had been using previously will still work. But if you're new to science fair, you've never created an account in Zfairs, you're going to need to create that teacher account. And if you're having trouble with password, you can request to reset your password through the platform, or any of us on the science fair team can reset that for you. All you have to do is email us, and we're happy to help you with that. Bottom line, we are here to serve as technical support anyway, for all things. So if it starts to get frustrating, all you got to do is reach out, and we can help you out. So let's register a student. Let's go through that process real quick. And before I go in there, I do want to point out one more time to those of you that just came in, if you're looking for the forms are linked here. And this year, as it has been in the past couple of years, we have 2 mandatory forms for all students that get uploaded to the Zfairs platform. We've got this student parent signature form, which is in English and Spanish. Choose the one that's going to be the most useful in your context, as well as the risk assessment form. Same there. Print them, fill them out, get the necessary signatures on them, and then in a moment you'll see where to upload them onto the platform. So I'm a teacher coach, and I registered my school and make sure that I've got an account for myself. So I'm going to now create an account for a student, and I'm going to give that student, and let me caution you with this. If you are playing along with me and creating an account this afternoon, just for learning purposes, if you can include in your data, in your information that you put in on this screen somewhere, like for me, I'm going to give my username. I'm going to call it test 24. That way later I know that that's not a valid account, and we can go in later and delete them. But I do encourage you to play along as we go through. And I'm going to put my name in here, the student's name. I'm going to be Michelle 7, put my last name, email. Caution. A lot of students have email accounts, but they are not checkable. Whatever email address that you put in here needs to be an email that can be checked, that's usable, because the email that's here is the email. These emails you enter into the system. Zfairs allows me to send emails through the platform, like bulk email. So this is where you're going to be getting your information, is through the platform. So be sure that you are putting an email address in here. The student, if it's a student email address, that it's an email address that can actually be checked. Sometimes instead of a student email address, teachers will actually put their own teacher email address, and that's completely up to you. Whatever you think is going to work best in your context. So I've got all my information entered there. I hit save and continue. All right. So now I'm on to my next screen. So there you can see is my my email address, my username. Make a little note here so I remember what I wrote down there. And my name, my email, my phone. Pre-fill phone here. I'm a female. Shirt size for the student. Every student who participates in the Kern County Science Fair gets a t-shirt as part of their participation in the fair. So please make sure as much as possible, as close as you can, choose the correct size for the student, because whatever you put in Zfairs is a size shirt that the student will get at the science fair. We don't order a lot of extra shirts, so be really careful on this shirt size. Make sure that it's the size that the student will actually be able to wear maybe later in the school year in a couple of months. So for me, I'm going to select that. I'm pretending like I'm a student and I'm registering me. Then you need a password for the student. And I suggest again, you pick something that you are going to remember, because chances are pretty good that it will probably be you, the teacher coach, who's going to be using this account. So let me drop a password in there. And Zfairs does require that the one biggie on your password is that it does have to include a capital letter, at least one capital and one lowercase. And I put my password in wrong, so give me a sec. All right, now moving on. It is helpful to have this parent guardian information in here, especially a parent or guardian email address. That comes in really handy for our middle and high school students. If for our students who actually qualify to go to the state science fair, it can become pretty critical that we have that parent email included as part of the registration for the state science fair. Now, I probably should have said this up front at the beginning, but we recommend that this student registration process happen as a partnership, that it is the teacher coach along with the student who is actually creating these registration accounts. In some extreme cases, it might just have to be that the parent or the family actually create the account. But this whole process just seems to work better if we have the school representative be the one creating the account. Now, if you absolutely prefer, you just like it that way, that the parent email address also be the teacher email, that's up to you. But we've got, the more email addresses we have, the better. So I filled in, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. So I want to make sure that I got all my required information in there. So I'm going to hit save and continue again. All right. So students in grades 6 to 12, science fair is for students in 4th grade all the way through 12th grade. But our students in grades 6 to 12 can do group projects. And so this screen is the beginning of that process. So our students in 4th and 5th grade, you are only doing individual projects. Group projects are not allowed in grades 4 and 5. So our 4th and 5th graders are going to start a new entry, as well as if you're entering a group, the first student that you enter, you're going to start here on start a new entry. And then subsequently, you'll go in and register all of the other students. Each of the students in a group has to have their own registration account. But it's this screen where you put in the information, which this project key number comes on the last screen. And I believe that on your final screen, when you're all done with the whole process, So if you're registering a group project, you want to be really careful at the end to collect that information. And I believe in the confirmation email you receive, the project key might be there too. But this link to this link up item, then you put this code in, and then Zfairs knows to link up those students that are in that group. So this can be a pretty important fork in the road, if you will, for our group projects. So, but today I'm registering a new entry, and it's a student who's working alone. All right, now my student goes to, let's see, BHS. You can see, did you see that list of all of our preloaded schools? There's lots of them. The teacher, Mr. Ham, longtime science fair teacher, he's already got an account. So my student goes to BHS. Mr. Ham is the teacher, and the student is a 10th grader. Now, I know in a lot of cases on this screen, you're the maybe the site coach for a school or a district. So at this point, if you're creating an account for a student and you're trying to decide who the teacher is or what teacher to select, select yourself. Because if you're and here's why. Don't select the homeroom teacher because it's either the district or the site coordinator for science fair. You're probably going to want to see or have all these student accounts linked to you in the system. So be sure that if you're registering a student and you want to have the student's account linked to you in the system so that you can see it later, so you can see all the students that you're connected with or to, select your name. Don't select the homeroom teacher if that's somebody different. That can become, now if accidentally that happens, all you gotta do is let us know and we can fix that for you. Save and continue. All right, so now we start to enter information about the project itself. So I'm going to just put some silly things in here so we can trick the system and move on for demonstration purposes. So my lame-o title for my science fair project is dog. I get to go in and I'm a high school student, right? So you can see here what categories I have to choose from for high school, right? Those are my choices. Now, a word about, I'm going to pick mammalian biology because my project is called dogs as my category. By and large, the category that you select at registration will probably be the category that the student will compete in. But what happens after all of the student registration has taken place is that the scientific review committee convenes, and then they look at all the projects and look for safety issues and procedures and all the things, plus the categories that have been selected for competition. And sometimes the scientific review committee will change or move projects around to different categories. So just be mindful of that. And also the ruling is always this, that the scientific review committee, it has final say on what category that the projects compete in. So I just want everyone to be aware of that. So this is a high school project, right? So I could be a team project. And if it was, but I'm individual, so I'm not going to click that. It's a high school project, so I could have the option of electricity. Students in 4th and 5th grade do not have the opportunity to be a team project. 4th and 5th graders do not have the opportunity to access power. And then for our high school students only, we have this International Science and Engineering Fair option. So for our high schoolers, they can select this box, and at the science fair, the project can be up for consideration to be one of our 2 Kern County high school projects that actually gets selected to compete in the International Science and Engineering Fair, which we've been qualifying students to compete there for the last couple of years. This year, the International Science and Engineering Fair is in Columbus, Ohio. And the Kern County Science Foundation funds that trip. It's a really super special, incredible opportunity for our high school kids, but that's only, ISEF is only for high school kids. And then this is the box that is probably the most work. You've actually got to type in, and there's really an infinite amount of space in this cell. Got to type in the project abstract, which please make sure it's a complete and thorough project abstract. Sometimes we get the scientific review committee goes to review projects, and the placement of projects and categories is heavily determined by the abstract. And if it's an abstract that's just one sentence long, it's really hard to fairly place a project in a category. So if you're not sure, when I had my coach orientation earlier in the school year, I talked about what a complete and thorough project abstract potentially could look like. If you'd like a sample of that, all you've got to do is reach out via email and I can send you one, or websites like sciencebuddies.com and other science fair related websites give some great guidance around writing a project abstract. But please, please, please make sure that you as the coach oversees the writing of that abstract and it's complete and thorough. Typically what folks do is they get it all typed up as a document, either in Google or Microsoft Word, something like that, and then just copy and paste it into that cell. So I've got to put something in here because that is a mandatory item. So for demonstration purposes, your students are not going to write an abstract like that, though, right? Okay, so there we go. Now, next screen. Remember at the beginning, I was talking about that all students who compete in the science fair, whether they're individual, whether they're group, whether they're a 4th grader, whether they're a 12th grader, whatever, every single student must have each of these 2 forms uploaded into onto the platform. Now, you don't have to do it right now. In that first run through, you can finish the process and then come back later and add them as paperwork. But before the student can compete, we go through all the student accounts and check over them and approve them for competition. And if these 2 forms aren't here, myself or Christy or someone else from the science fair team is going to bug and hound you until the students' paperwork, their parent signature form and that risk assessment form get uploaded here. So I repeat, every single student who creates an account in Zfairs and who participates in the science fair must have those 2 forms signed and uploaded into the platform. So I'm going to save and continue for now. Okay. First, there's a $15 registration fee for each student. Not per project, it's per student. So, and in most cases, by and large, in almost all cases, the school or the district pays this fee. And in that case, my secretary, Christy, will be reaching out with invoices around the time that student registration closes, and you'll be submitting $15 per student, and it gets mailed here. Check that box. The student is also agreeing that they've read the rules, that they're going to follow the rules. They are saying that they're going to follow the rules and all the safety guidelines. They have read and are familiar with what is allowed for display at the science fair. Let's see, that it's their project, you know, those sorts of things. And it's okay for students to get help. It's just, it really does need to be the student totally understands what's going on. I understand, this is the big one. I understand that items that are displayed at the fair are at the risk of the student and not the Kern County Science Fair. So don't bring things to the science fair that you will be devastated if you lose. And the Kern County Science Fair is a big deal. And on the day of the event, we have lots of local media show up to cover the event. Lots of photos are taken that day. So we consent to media coverage. Now, in the case that you have a student whose parents or guardians prefer that the student not be photographed or have their picture used for promotional purposes, that sort of thing, please reach out and let me know specifically so that I can put them on my list, and we'll make sure that that happens at the fair. So you got to check all those boxes or you won't be able to continue. So check if it's someone who isn't parent prefers they are not that they don't grant the media release, just let me know and we'll make sure that that happens. Now, as I mentioned, there's a $15 fee per student. So we're going to pay and continue. We don't take credit cards. It's either a purchase order, check, or cash. Now, at this point, there's two options, check or school. So let's look at each of those tabs. I will be paying my registration fee by check. I understand that it is my responsibility to pay my registration fee. I understand that if the fee is not paid, I may not be able to compete. And in very few cases, and typically this happens with our private schools, if it happens at all, that private party is paying the fee, you're going to check that. Or click over here to school. My school is paying the registration fee. And then in that case, Christy is going to reach out. She's creating invoices and that sort of thing this year to collect payment. And payment is due within a couple of weeks after registration closes on January 24th. So I'm going to say that my school's paying. So I'm going to check that. Or my district. And that's it. That's the last screen. And then at this point, you can see all my information is there, my project ID. And if I were to check my email, I would receive, there's an auto email generated that says that my registration is complete. Now, as I was talking earlier about the uploading of the two forms, let's say that you want to upload those forms later. You can do that. You just log into the student account and under paperwork, click there. Voila. There are those two places where you can upload the student parent signature video release form. Goes right there. And same for the risk assessment form. And I repeat, all students are going to have to complete that and get those forms uploaded to their registration account. And that's really as simple as it is. Just, you know, big things to think about. Go back to the, oh, and this is what the student homepage, once they log in, what it will look like. And at this point, the waivers piece is not an issue here in Kern County. It's It's either the student is paying for it or the school is paying for it. And if there is an extreme hardship, either on the part of the school or on the part of the student, all you got to do is reach out and we can make arrangements. No student should not participate in the science fair because of the registration fee being a barrier. Now, that is all I have as far as the registration system. I'm going to go to the chat now. Let's see if there's any questions in there. No questions there. If there's anyone in the room still that would like to unmute and ask a question, you can certainly do that now. I'm going to, yes, go ahead.
I had a quick question. So I'm trying to create a new teacher account.